Thank you guys for being here with us. And Mike, I have some information for you that I think you're going to find very, very interesting. So, got some new info on Dissociadid, of course, with her British teeth. She is hot, but look at those teethers.
Yeah, those teethers are not the best, but I mean, you would though, right?
So yeah,
I mean,
so only when she's Kyle though. I want her to be Kyle the whole time.
Hey, bro, let's suck each other's.
Yeah.
What if anytime she turns into Kyle, like when she goes to take a piss or something, does she start screaming?
Ah, where's my pants?
Right, wouldn't you? Yeah. You just
So she has, for those that don't know, again, on our clip channel, you can find all our videos on her, and she has multiple personality, or now known as dissociative identity disorder, which we respect highly here on this show. And
which is a made-up white woman disease.
Or that. And so did you know that she has a tier in her Patreon where you can speak to one of her alters? Now, you can only speak to one. This is true. This is not made up. You could speak to one of her alters, Kyle. So you have a 15-minute conversation with Kyle. Skype call. It's a 15-minute Skype call with Kyle. How much do you think she charges?
Probably
15 minutes.
$100.
$300.
Are you kidding me?
No, this is real.
And it's weird. It's again, she's so good at. I mean, I gotta give her props for this. She's so good at planning around these different personalities showing up. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like how do you know Kyle's going to be around enough to do these
Skype
calls?
I actually know how, because she's lying.
Oh, okay. That may when you put it like that, Royce.
Yeah. So it's $300. It's $300, and you get to speak to Kyle. And she's making this new video.
Even Lauren Southern only charged like $250.
And she has better teeth. So this is Jade. This is Jade speaking
also has a
here.
better grift.
Yeah, that's true. So this is Jade. This is her Jade. As you can see,
this chick has her teeth look like fucking Captain Crunch.
It's really bad, dude. It's really
old
bad.
Fucking Alan Powell teeth over here.
So let's play this. This is important. Check this out. This is Jade.
Welcome back to another video by Dissociadid. This is Jade, and today
Hi, Jade.
I'm going to be answering questions that were given to us by our patrons. And they
Okay, I have a question. Why are you a liar?
asked us to make a video on what my role is like as gatekeeper of the system.
Jade is the gatekeeper. Kyle's the protector. Jade is the gatekeeper.
Why are you allowed to do this, but we're not allowed to just make fun of people as a joke?
Because
you know what I mean.
This is
like,
a disease.
A made-up one, Royce. It's a made-up one.
Cool intro, dude.
A gatekeeper altar is an altar that can have
I'm
various...
the gatekeeper. I'm the keymaster.
Gets punched by a black guy.
My name is Vince Clortho, and I want to fuck your mouth.
roles within a system. Mainly, they either are able to control who has access to what memories, or who has access to the front. Sometimes, if there is a switch that needs to happen, or somebody who needs to be blocked from the front, a gatekeeper altar may be more able than other altars to control who has that access and who doesn't.
This does not sound scientifically accurate.
Do you remember the good old days when somebody spoke like this, you could just call the authorities and go, this person clearly needs to be put away and work on their issues? Remember those days? Remember how cool that was?
Doesn't. My role is less like that in my system. My role is more to do with memories and controlling and removing memories.
And I bet you if you lock this bitch up in one of those terrible, gross, by the way, it's England, so it would be one of those HMS fucking mental health places, which I'm sure are like...
It was built in 1650?
They look like Arkham Asylum. You know what I mean? Like but I bet you put her in one of those British Arkham Asylum type hospitals, I will bet you cash money that she's cured within a month.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. 100%.
No, I'm better now. I'm better. Can I leave? Can I please leave? I promise I'll never do my made-up disease thing again. I guarantee you, lock her in a fucking mental health facility for a month, and I guarantee you by the end of that month, she'll be like, I was grifting. I was lying. I'm sorry. Can I leave now?
So, for example, if Nin, or in the past Chloe, were to have a flashback that they weren't ready to handle yet, that we as a system were not ready for the repercussions of yet, I am responsible for removing that memory from her consciousness. That's not to say that this is always successful, and it's not an easy thing to do, but I do have control of memory filing. I'm also...
So you're not...
Memory filing, mind palaces, this...
1 month. 1 fucking month, and she'd come out and go, I'm sorry, I was lying. Please, can you please let me go now?
Also able to control who accesses what areas of the inner world. Some gatekeep...
The inner world?
See, because there's two things. There's two things when it comes to mental health facilities, because they're not pleasant places to be. The one purpose that they serve is that if you do have some sort of dangerous, like schizophrenia or something, and you're a danger to people, or you're criminally insane, they can treat you, they can keep you in a place where you're safe and all that stuff. The other side, the one that people don't ever talk about, is that they serve as a deterrent so that we are not glorifying mental illness and using it in order to gain victim points, run GoFundMe scams. See, if we had mental health facilities and certain criteria at which you could put them in mental health facilities, people like this would be too scared to ever do this. Because they'd be like, well, no, people are going to think I'm nuts. They're going to put me in a nutty house. But now that there's no... now you can pretend to be crazy. You can pretend to have a disease. There are no penalties. They can't make you go to any kind of a thing if you don't want to go. And then you could just make a bunch of money. So there's really no reason now not to just lie about your mental illness.
Who may literally gatekeep within the inner world, control who can access what subsystems or what structures in the inner world. Perhaps they may guard specific objects or altars. I guard all of these things. I control who has access to the dungeons, who has access to the carousel, who has access to the basement, and no...
What access to dungeon, you have to put a bomb in front of the cave, and it like blows the cave open, and then you get a sword.
Nah, but that's Legend of Zelda rules.
Oh.
Okay, because there's other ways to access caves just depending on the game.
You're
know?
right.
Sometimes you can't even get into the cave until you actually get to the land that has the cave. A lot of times they'll cut you off that way.
Nobody has access beyond the carousel except me and one of our persecutors, Demon. Only Demon and I are able to access the carousel.
This is...
Just Demon. Demon could access the carousel of progress.
Again, they're going around and they're rounding up people and putting them in jail and putting them in health facilities for having barbecues at their house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But this woman's allowed to just do this, and nobody comes and does a welfare check. Because if somebody, let's say that this young lady here isn't a complete fucking lying piece of shit. Let's say that. I mean, she is that, but let's say she's not for a second. If your family member was talking like this, if your sister was talking like this, wouldn't you be concerned enough to go, we need to do something?
Of course.
I don't... You know what I mean? Like, she could hurt herself. She could hurt kids around her. Who knows? But if you're talking like this and you mean it, then clearly it's like we need to do something before somebody gets hurt or we regret not stepping up and doing something. You wouldn't glorify it and go, you know what we should do? We should exploit this for a YouTube channel and make money off of it. Like, this woman, in addition to being a fucking completely full of shit grifter, also doesn't seem to have anybody around that cares about her in any way.
Well, to add on to what you said, that's a very good point. If this is true, you wouldn't let her drive a car.
You go, no, I can't.
You can't. You would. What if one of your altar turns into one of your littles that doesn't know how to drive? You're going to kill a pedestrian? Like,
yeah.
At what level do you go? Okay, this isn't. We can't do this.
What if one of your altars is you know?
Yeah,
are you going to let her just go driving a car all willy nilly?
There is a door that floats in the center of the carousel. To everybody else, this door looks black.
Okay.
To me and Demon, this door looks red, and we are able to pass through it.
What? There's a magic door now?
I live in a cave, and it is my home. I'm not ashamed of it. I guard the mouth of the cave.
By the way, I just want to point out, because Minnie1 in the chat says, then pity her, but do not rat her out. But here's the thing, dude. It's not ratting out. It's not ratting out. It's like Patrice O'Neill said in an interview years ago. He was talking about people always use this expression, brutal honesty. Like, man, he's so brutally honest. But why is honesty brutal? Why does it have to be brutal? Why isn't our perception of honesty the good thing? Why is it comforting white lies, comforting lies, but brutally honest? Like, it's not ratting out. It's going, hey, stupid. This is all made up. So you either need to acknowledge it, because here's the thing. It's not ratting out. She's spreading dangerous medical misinformation, and she's encouraging other people to emulate her. So what do you mean? And he's saying I wouldn't call the cops. Nobody said. I'm not saying
No
call
one
the
said call the
cops.
cops. We said if you were her family.
Yeah, if this person was related to you, and she was doing this, talking like this, and you thought she truly believed what she was saying, you'd go, we got to do something, because she's going to hurt herself or others, crash her car, like Royce said. Something's going to happen, and it's like, let's nip this in the bud first. But it's not ratting it. You need the truth, dude. More people need the goddamn truth now more than ever.
Tunnels beyond the cave, which connect to the basements and the dungeons. I am responsible for allowing nobody except those I choose.
Yes, I've played Skyrim.
Can we know?
I know how the dungeons work and the caves. And you go down there and you kill the Draugr, and then you get it, you know what I mean? And then you just, after a while, the caves all look the same. And then you're like, why did I start playing Skyrim again?
If it gets too hard, you bring Lydia with you.
That's fine. Yeah, Lydia does, she's just basically a cheat code with tits.
Yeah.
Or out. I guard and protect the altars who are still dormant. Let's call it dormant.
She's trying to talk like she's a terrible actress too. She tries to put on like these like this is her no nonsense altar, like, who are dormant. I'm going to speak like a villain in a movie. Like, stop this fucking. This is. I was going to say nobody buys this, but of course a lot of people do buy this, because a lot of people give money to her. I mean, she has a lot of subscribers, so of course a lot of people do buy it. But why?
A unusual kind of dormant. Different than the kind that the altars who are in the loft of the mansion
This is a good point.
experience.
Randy Marsh, it's convenient how she has full control over who she chooses, but she can't choose to not have the disorder. Why don't you just stay one person? Why don't you, even though you have all these other altars, why don't you just stay one person? Because what you're doing is slowly killing the people who care about you.
So then what happens is that people like this then encourage, like this one, Multiplicity and me, they encourage people like this now. So what happens is...
maybe this one's just a channel about being...
So...
You got any personalities that aren't, thick gals?
This is Trisha Paytas's altar.
It's like weird, man. That sucks when you got multiple personality disorder. It doesn't matter what personality comes out, you're still a chick.
So this is another one that's been inspired by this, and now she has a channel. Her channel now has 196,000 subscribers. It's Multiplicity and Me. This is called How Much Trauma Do You Need to Have Dissociative Identity Disorder?
See, her problem is that sometimes she has lunch, but then she switches personalities, and then she didn't remember she had lunch. So she has lunch again.
From Multiplicity and Me, giving you the lived experience of DID. And today we're going to be talking about the very important...
Because we put up with a lot of shit in this country, but British people put up with even more shit than we do.
I think it's also like, and I don't mean to get so spurgy, but they have created a culture that makes white people hate themselves so much.
Yeah.
That like white people have to come up with these weird ways of being something other than just a generic white person. Like being a generic white person in 2020 and 2021 is fucking terrible thing to be. So everyone needs to be a multiple personality, two-spirit unicorn, fucking space odyssey demon. Like nobody could just be, because being a white guy sucks. Frankly, being like it does. Being a white guy right now, being a white woman right now, fucking stinks. It's terrible. So, you know, and white women tend to have more bizarre coping mechanisms than men. You know, like men will just drink themselves to death and work overtime until they just have a heart attack at fucking 40. And then that's it. But white women just sit around all day and go like, oh, I'm going to make up a new personality. Oh, I'm Kyle now.
Dr. Till says she has multiple dinner disorder. So that's medically true.
She fucking goes to Wendy's like twice within the hour and they go, you were just here. That was my order.
Important topic of trauma. How much of it do you need to have a disorder like DID?
Ending the stigma, dude.
So we'll be breaking it down today because there is a lot to squish in here.
Yeah, I fucking bet you and your Spanx.
You are fucking, look, you're really baiting me here, lady.
Yeah.
First, a brief glance into the window of tolerance.
A lot to squeeze into this fucking frame.
Second, what exactly constitutes trauma, which we will define by the current understanding of ACEs.
Look, lady, I get what you're saying, but take it from me. You know, you see it all the time. Society's crumbling, and look, I know you think you're the only person whose stepdad f***ed her, but you're not. And I know plenty of people whose stepdads f***ed them, and they're still able to like maintain employment and not make everybody around them uncomfortable. Have you tried doing that?
Shit, most of the people that were on the Howard Stern show in the 90s stepdad f***ed them.
Of course.
All
sometimes
the women.
on the show.
Yeah.
Adverse childhood experiences. Both of these topics probably need their own video, but we need to have an understanding of both of these things to answer the question at hand: how much trauma is enough for DID? And finally,
You're not a medical expert. Why was anyone listening to you?
We'll give a quick summary of everything and also talk a little bit about which ACEs that we've experienced that we feel has impacted us the most. As human beings, we are all unique individuals, which means we all have a different perception, reaction to, and tolerance to stress and trauma. The window of tolerance is essentially how much we can personally cope with something that's traumatic. So why...
Imagine sitting across this on a date.
Oh, Jess will begin work as a mental health practitioner in the new year. Isn't that great?
That's good. So you want somebody who thinks she's literally 37 fucking people to be telling you what your problems are. Sounds good to me.
Jess has professional experiences, but does not claim to be a professional on YouTube. Can I translate that for the audience? Jess wants all of you to think she's an expert and continue to give her money, but she wants to have a disclaimer so she can grift you as an expert, but still have no responsibility.
Why is it when someone experiences a car crash, for example, they may never be able to get on the road again, but somebody else who's been through an extremely...
Well, that's normally because Nick Hogan was driving, and he's not going to be able to get on anything ever again.
By the way, you said imagine sitting across from this at a date. Yeah, but like at a Golden Corral, not a fucking Burns Steakhouse.
Good point.
Fucking can't afford to feed this girl and all her alters.
Similar car crash will just jump back in their car the next day. This is down to the weird and wonderful world of the window of tolerance.
But you're not a mental health expert. You've admitted to that in this video.
What dictates your current window is a mixture of genetic and environmental.
This is somebody who is Wikipedia educated. These are people that get educated with Wikipedia, and they just kind of repeat buzz phrases that they heard.
Factors. Every person's window of tolerance will be unique to them. Some person's perception of trauma may be different.
It's almost as if they're making it up. You know what's weird? You know what most doctors and experts would tell you about mental illness and disease and things like that, diagnosable things, is that despite some slight variations, no, the symptoms are almost identical. See, that's how you identify a disorder, is because the doctor goes, what's wrong with you? And then you list 2 or 3 things, and they go, oh, yeah, no, we know what that is. Because you fit a certain thing. I love how, like, it only with the made-up diseases do they go, everyone's perspective and situation is different and unique. No, it's not. If you have the flu, you're going to go there, and they're going to go, So what's wrong with you? You're going to go, I'm aching, I have a fever, I'm like stuffed up, I'm coughing a lot. Yeah, you probably have the flu. Here's some Zithromax. Have a nice day. And then 500 people come in and go, well, nowadays they go, well, it's COVID, and we're going to mark you down as dead. And I'm going to get $17,000 in my pocket. But I mean, they know what you have based on I have bup, and this, and boop, and bop. And they go, yeah, you have this. We'll fix that. But yeah, everyone's thing is unique because they're all making it up as they go along. And there's no science behind this.
From another person's perception of trauma, and therefore people may not necessarily feel that a certain type of trauma is severe enough. But it's how your brain reacts that's important, and in childhood how it's soothed thereafter, because we learn our window of tolerance.
Why do we give these people so... I mean, I know we're doing it. I understand we're guilty of it, but we've really built these people up to the point where they have huge followings, and everyone's like, yeah, you go, girl. You're right. You go, girl.
Yeah. It's, again, attractive white women are living life with cheat codes. It's life with cheat codes and console commands. And it's in easy mode. And there is no, like, I almost feel bad for white attractive women sometimes because, like, you guys don't even experience the human condition anymore. Because you've been put in a situation where you don't ever have to. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a guy and you're, like, average looking and average intelligence, average everything, those people understand the human condition, the suffering to get through to the other side and accomplish your goals and do this. And white women are conditioned to never have to really take part in the human experiment. And then they just make shit up and everybody goes, that's fucking brave. Here's some money. That's all it is, which is why women, frankly, should be trying to get married, find a husband, and go be part of a family, because when you just go off on your own and try to do all this, you're not playing by the same rules as men. Kaylee Kazoo says, but I'm ugly. Then I'm not talking to you. If you're an ugly woman or a woman, this does not apply to you, because I've seen how ugly women get treated, and you're like, okay, you're all right, you get it. But these attractive women that just go, yeah, I know, I had like 14 personalities, and I have a gateway in my head where the demon opens up the doorway and allows my male altar to come in, and you're going, that's great. You want to get out of here and go back to my place? Or and that's the problem. You guys, like, attractive women just don't understand the entire human condition.